Hi, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel. Today I continue the conversation with Rachelle Garcia Seliga, who is a midwife and also an author, a trainer of innate postpartum care certification program.
So many women feel really pissed off and bad and guilty and anxious and what all the dark feelings after giving birth. So why this is happening, and what's the root cause of this?
The root cause is lack of support and lack of nourishment and lack of community. So it's a reframe on the way that it's talked about in the collective culture amongst mothers, amongst healthcare professionals, amongst mental health professionals, right? It's like postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety and postpartum rage. And I'm saying, what if the depression that we feel in the postpartum time, the anxiety that we feel, the rage that we feel are healthy, normal responses actually to dysfunctional environments, okay? Because the problem is the environment. The pathologizing is of women, of women's bodies, okay? So the patterning set up within allopathic medicine, the patterning that is within our minds across the world is what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me for feeling like this? I shouldn't feel like this. I should feel some other way. But it's like you look at nature as our example for everything. And if there's a flower in the garden, right? And the flower, is wilting and it's kind of ugly, we don't go over to the flower and think or say to the flower, what the hell is wrong with you, flower? Stand up, like you're supposed to be really beautiful. No, we say, oh my gosh, I've forgotten to water you, and oh my gosh, all of these weeds have grown over you. So you've been getting no sun, right? And it's the same thing for mothers, right? Like, so it's what it is. Why we do this as women is because it's internalized oppression. Okay. So like all of the hundreds and thousands of fucking years of patriarchy, what we've done is we've like sucked it all in and we believe it. And so then when something feels off, that we could use as a barometer, as in, this feels off, something's not right. What can I do to create a change? Something feels off and we say, something must be wrong with me. That's internalized oppression, okay, as women. And then our healthcare providers reflect that back to us. Something's wrong with you. You need to go on medication, okay? How many women are on SSRIs right now? I don't even know the statistic. Before the whole COVID time, like 30% of women in the United States were on anti-anxiety or anti-depression medication or both. I would reckon now it's probably like 50% or more, okay, would be my guess. And so what I'm saying is that those feelings that we feel depressed, we feel anxious, we feel whatever it is that comes up for us in the postpartum time is the brilliance actually of our bodies letting us know that this is not okay, right? What is not okay? Our environments are not okay. It's not okay and normal to be alone all day with a newborn baby or with our small children for that matter. That's not normal. I know a lot of us are doing that out of need, but we're not going to feel good in that circumstance because we're wired to co-regulate as humans. Where are the adults that we're co-regulating with? There are studies out there about the impact of loneliness on individuals. There's no specific studies about the impact of loneliness on postpartum mothers because who's going to fund that research, right? But it's like there are studies out there, that say it is more damaging to our health to be lonely as a human being than it is to be an alcoholic, than it is to be morbidly obese, than it is to smoke several packs of cigarettes a day. Okay, that's how damaging loneliness is on our cardiovascular system, on our immune system, on our hormonal system. So the biggest antidote to how we feel in the postpartum period is relative to community. Like, do we have humans who can be with us, who we can be with on a daily basis, who can accurately reflect back to us who we are? Meaning not your mother-in-law or your own mother who has a distorted perception of who you are and is going to feed that back to you, but someone who can see your true nature and be with you in that. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing in the postpartum time.
Mm. And I love what you say, that these feelings of depression, anxiety, or rage, whatever it is it could be your sort of like a, not a guideline, but something that you can actually see further, like not internalizing this something wrong and feeling shame and guilt and whatever, which is a very common pattern, at least for me and I think for many. But looking outwards and see what actually needs to be changed outside. It's not something wrong about me, but I think it's such an uncommon way of thinking.
Totally. And I'm also not saying that it's always like to externalize our problems, right? Because that also could like put us into the place of the victim. Yeah. But it's also to see like, what do I need to change inside of myself for this to change, right? Because there's also the truth of like, we're learning something really important through what it is that we're experiencing. So it's looking to the environment, but also what is it in us that allowed us, that created this environment that we're in that's not nourishing to us, right? And that has to do with what we have come to accept. It's like we've come to accept like breadcrumbs as women, you know, morsels instead of like the loaf of bread. You know, it's come from lack of self-love, lack of self-respect, lack of self-honoring. So there's like the inside outside work to it, you know?
Yeah.